Okay, so Coach Cass, I want to thank you so much for joining me on the Your Birth Network podcast. I'm so excited to have you here and to dive into your birth story. But before we do that, I do want to give you the chance to introduce yourself to everybody, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and anything you want to share about like your life and your business.
Okay. All right. So we'll get down to business first. Hey, Tario. Hello, listeners out there. What's up? I'm Coach Cass, America's go-to love doctor. I specialize in supporting professional women who have everything but a man. So if you've ever been in a place where you've been scared of dating, or maybe you've been dating and you're not sure of how to choose the right one, you feel like your picker is broken, I'm your girl. Okay. So literally my main focus is for you to really grow when it comes to self-love. Be able to attract the type of love that you deserve, where you feel heard, where you feel cherished, where you feel wanted. You are a wanted woman, girl. And then last but not least, thrive in that relationship, because we all know somebody. Put a hand up if you know somebody that's been settling in some type of situation. No more situations. You need a great relationship. I'd love for you to get married, but only if that's what you want for your life. So if that's the type of thing for you, I'm your girl.
I love that. What makes you so passionate about helping like corporate women who have everything with the man? When you say that, I think of the TV show Being Mary Jane and the character that Gabrielle Union played. Like that's the exact type of prototype that I think of when you say that. Yeah.
So that means I'm doing good in terms of describing who my ideal client is.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
Being
so.
Mary Jane would be my client, because all of us are like, no, not him. Like we can all see, like, that ain't it, honey. That ain't it.
Yeah.
The midnight lovers, the this and that, but still not getting it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love is my magnificent obsession, girl. I could talk about love 24/7. I'm sure like you could do birth, right? So
yeah.
For me, I just love it. It is my calling. Like I could get all up in everybody's business. My story specifically is I was dating this guy that I thought was the one. Jarielle, have you ever thought somebody was the one before?
Many times before.
Oh, girl.
Yes.
And we were together for some time, and we traveled and we did business, and I just knew that I knew that this was the one for me. And then I got a call one Christmas Eve, girl. Rang. I'm like, oh, Merry Christmas. And it was a mutual friend of mine. And he goes, hey, are you sitting? What's up? Hi. He's married.
Oh.
Who's married? The guy you've been seeing. Oh, girlfriend, what? Right? So my heart shattered in a million
pieces. You couldn't wait till after New Year's to deliver this to you?
You know what I'm saying? Did not need any of the tea.
He is not a good deliverer.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So I left that relationship, but how many of us know that relationship doesn't leave you, in terms of in your mind, you feel like stupid. You feel like analyzing, you feel like going over, replaying the tape. And then so nobody was calling me to inflict guilt and shame, but I definitely was calling on myself. And I was in a really dark place for a really long time. And I kept dating. All right. Don't get me wrong, but I kept choosing the wrong guy after the wrong guy. Anybody with me? The wrong guy. I was like, okay, wait a second. Something's got to give. So my defining moment came when I got like my 29th wedding invitation. I felt like everybody was getting, everybody's getting married. No matter the weight, the race, the age, the stage, nothing. So I said, okay, I think I'm cute. What's going on here? So that's when I really started to say, okay, well, I need to invest in me. Just like I invest in my business, just like I invest in my fitness and my travel, pre-COVID. But before all of that, I need to invest in myself. And love, I realized, I thought was like magic fairy dust that you're supposed to just sprinkle. It happened for Rashida. It happened for Ellen. It happened for Maria. It can happen for Cass. It wasn't happening. And I even went to Disney. They had magic fairy dust, but none for love. So I became a student of love. I read every book I could on love. I took every certification. I got my own personal help. Oh my goodness. I interviewed couples who had been married over 25 years, but actually still liked each other. Because Jarielle, do you know some grumpy married folks? I know a lot of grumpy married people.
Yeah.
They were not selling it. And then I interviewed successful single women who were successful in love and in business. Because there was a part of me that felt like you couldn't have both. And there's so many women out there that are focused on their business and not on love. So for me, you know, all this work attracted the amazing man who's now my husband. We have a beautiful family. It's just awesome. But then when I look around, I see so many professional women that are either in like this settling situationship, or they're focused on everything else but saying, you know, God's going to drop him down in my apartment. You know, like he just going to drop him right here. And you know, for a fact, if some random person was in your apartment, you'd start screaming and you wouldn't open the door. Right. Uber Eats guy and the Amazon Prime guy, you don't even open the door for. So how you going to open the door for your Boaz?
Especially in COVID.
Exactly. Okay. So let's be real. So I really help women carve out a third lane, a lane where you intentionally understand that love is not through osmosis. Love is through action. And how do you intentionally date and not just get into another situation thing, you know, that you kind of do your face like sour grapes when you think about it. But hey, it's a warm body. Like, stop that, right? You deserve more. You are wanted. A woman that achieves new triumphs every day. You know, I have a whole jewelry line that says I am wanted as a reminder, you know, that listen, you are wanted, girl. Now it's just to figure out, who do you want?
I love that. Okay. So you go west, right? And you get all in people's business who have been married for a long time, people who are successful and are successful in love and in business. You attract this incredible guy. You guys end up getting married. And then what happens when it comes to like, okay, when should we start a family? And
that was hilarious, Jariel. Let me tell you. Okay, so when we got married, you know, everybody's like, where's the baby? Where's the baby? Where's the baby? I'm
that's
like,
what people want to know.
We just got married like yesterday. Can you give us like 5 seconds though? Seriously. So we told everybody 2 years. It's going to be 2 years until we have a baby. It's going to be 2 years. At like 1 year and 2 months, something like that. His brother goes, hey, it's time for y'all to start trying. According to my calculations, it's going to take this amount of time. So actually it was like at 10 months we were married. He's like, it's going to take this amount of time for you to get pregnant and then to have the baby, for you to have the baby at the 2-year mark. I was like, damn, you all up in my womb and my family planning
calculations
calendar. Seriously.
How sweet of him.
Seriously. Thanks. And then I was just like, I guess, you know, like, I guess he's right? So, okay. So I remember going to my husband, because, you know, this man's brother came to me. My husband's brother came to me. Didn't go to him. But anyway, so I was like, babe, I guess it's time. And he's like, are you sure? I was like, listen, all my life as an educated woman, I have tried not to get pregnant, right? That has been the goal my entire life. Don't get pregnant, do anything else, but don't get pregnant, right? So now it's okay to get pregnant. And that's just weird. You know, just that whole dynamic, that whole shift of now it's okay. Like, you're just supposed to be okay with one. I'm like, wait a second. You know? And then you're like, wait, that's a whole lot of responsibility. Am I ready to be a parent? I'm like, listen, if I analyze this anymore, we will never get pregnant. Okay. It'll just never happen. And I had an IUD because I had a Black doctor who had done her whole thesis and everything on IUDs. And it was like, you know, that's the best prevention, even if you never had a baby. Because, you know, there was like this false thought that, you know, you shouldn't have an IUD before you have at least one child. She was like, no, it's the best. I was like, great. Because I can't remember a pill if I wanted to, and a patch and a thing. And, you know, so the IUD was great. So I was like, babe, I'm gonna go take out this IUD tomorrow. And literally, I was looking up on YouTube how to take it out myself. I was like, it doesn't look that hard. And then I called my girlfriend who's a doctor. She said, please don't do that. Don't do that. Just, I got a spot. I got a spot for you tomorrow to take it out. Don't worry, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much how we started on the road to parenthood.
Okay. So then how long, like, did it ended up like happening at the 2-year mark where you guys had a baby exactly after you were married 2 years, or did it take longer than what you thought it would?
Actually, yeah. So she was born a month after our anniversary.
Wow. So you guys hit it like 2 years on the head. No way.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was it like? Like, where were you? What were you doing the first time you thought like, something might be different. I might be expecting. Like, did it happen like that for you?
No, girl. Now, like I said, the shift of not wanting to get pregnant to
Yeah.
it's okay to get pregnant is a huge shift. So
Yeah.
everything is intentional. Like literally, I was peeing on a stick every other day. Like I bought a whole slew of sticks from the
Okay.
Dollar Tree because I figured out that it's the same test as it is at CVS for $40. So I was peeing on a stick all the time. Like, am I pregnant? Am I pregnant? Am I pregnant? I don't know. Am I pregnant? You know, the Bible says, you know, I have one girlfriend that swears by, you know, you have your period and
Mm-hmm.
then every other day after your period, then you're pregnant. I'm like, okay, have sex every other day after your period's over. Okay, all right, let's do that. And I really think that works. And going to the chiropractor, right? You got to straighten out everything.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Have to be in
so
alignment.
yeah, so after P test number 16, I was like, oh, snap, we pregnant, right? And it was actually the day
Wow.
of my birthday dinner. So we were getting ready
Oh, no
to go
way.
to my birthday dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a little sticky, like, you're going to be a daddy next to like the little pregnancy thing. And he gets out the shower and he looks at it. And the first thing he says is, don't tell anybody.
Oh,
Because
he
we
wanted to
were
keep it a
going
secret.
to lunch with my family. He's like, shh, shh. Like, okay. So we were all giddy and excited and happy at lunch to say, oh my gosh, we're pregnant. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when did you guys decide to break the news to the family? And how did you guys tell everybody?
How did we tell everybody? Oh man, that's going back into time now. How did we tell everybody? I think we just called them up type of thing.
Okay.
And then my mom, who is not married to my dad anymore, like called my dad and told him. I was so mad. You know, it was just like that was not your news to share. You
Yeah. She was so
know?
excited she called your dad and told him.
Seriously, I'm like, Ma, you're such a big
That is
mom.
awesome.
Can't tell
Aw.
her any secrets whatsoever. So yeah, it was phone calls. I don't believe we did anything big. With the gender
Okay.
reveal, we had a whole like party at our house with a scavenger hunt, the girls versus the
Mm.
boys team, and it was fun. That was fun. So we did a whole little gender reveal at my house.
And how was your pregnancy? So this is like your first time
Yeah. Yes.
being pregnant. You're like, okay, I know for sure I'm pregnant for sure. We
Yes.
took the test,
Yes.
we confirmed, we told the
Uh-huh.
family. And then like, how were you feeling? Like, did you have anything that came up with you or the baby? Did you have any cravings?
Oh, cilantro.
Cilantro, really?
Cilantro. When
Okay.
I say I ate salad like nobody's business and every single one of them needed some cilantro, I wanted Mexican all the time.
Wow. Okay.
Cilantro. That was my craving all the time. And then, I just started to think, as an educated woman, you start to realize, like, you always see people eat cake and ice cream and pizza. But then you're like, wait, that's all the nutrients that's going to my baby. So then you feel guilty, right? And I didn't
Mm,
personally like those things anyway. And I didn't have cravings for those things because I do have some
okay.
friends that are like, oh, I could only eat Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, okay. But for me, it was just like, wait, if what I eat is what the baby gets, like I can't just eat cake 24/7. That's just not gonna work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I had a really healthy pregnancy, thank God.
Okay.
Before I got pregnant, I got fit. So I worked out all the time because I was like, look, if I have to gain 50 pounds, because that's another thing, right? You want to keep your weight off, but then now when you're pregnant, it's okay to just gain 50 pounds. Like
Yeah.
that does something to you. Like I'm getting heavier and heavier and it's okay. Like this goes against the very grain of the way society teaches us to be. And so
So
you have
true.
like a mini identity crisis. So for me, I got really skinny before I got pregnant because I was like, look, I'm going to be fit. Because if I'm going to get heavy, I need to be able to gauge how this sucker goes because so many people I
Yeah.
know gain weight and can't get it off. Like it just can't come off. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be intentional. Then I'll be at my best fitness
Okay.
when I get pregnant. And I
Mhm.
worked out until like month 7 or 8. I was still
Oh, wow.
working out. I used to do Orange Theory, so the treadmill and
Yep.
weights and the bike and all the things. So I did all the things because I was like, okay, we got to make sure to keep this under wraps because there's that fear, right? You get too
Yeah.
big. Is your husband going to leave you? Knowing for a fact my husband's not that person, but But still, you know, the way society ingrains us to say, well, are you going to be unwanted now because you ain't cute? You're big, you know, you got this belly, even though you're building a whole human and everything else going on. Now, mind you, my husband always told me I was sexy during my pregnancy. So I felt sexy. And when I look back at those pictures and my nose is like this, and, you know, your cheeks are like this.
Yeah. Your face
my
definitely
booty
stretches.
Oh, my booty, girl, it was juicy. It was like,
yeah. Yeah, the upgrades are nice sometimes.
Yeah. My boobs too. I was like, wow, forget the boob job. This is great.
And were you working during like the entire pregnancy, and were you working in like corporate America, or had you already like launched your coaching business? Because I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you how long.
All of the above.
Oh, okay. So you were doing both. Okay.
Yes. So I was working and working.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So nothing changed in terms of work, but I subscribed to like this box called La Tote, where you can get maternity clothes, because you know some folks buy maternity clothes and then you live in like the same 3 outfits for 19 months. Right. Like I didn't want to do that, so I got this box so I could feel cute my entire pregnancy, and they sent me clothes and you return them, like, you know, one of those subscription services where you could wear and return.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. So as I got bigger, I got different outfits to match that.
And I love that too, that you can try on maternity clothes from the comfort of your own home, because that's the other thing too, like going out and shopping for maternity clothes. I never shopped in the maternity section. I always just like sized up in like the regular section and just wore summer dresses all summer, because like summer dresses, who cares? Like they always fit. I can't do pants. So we'll just do summer dresses. Yeah, I love that idea. So La Tote was the name of the subscription service?
Tote.
Love it. Okay. So then talk about what happened. So you're 7-8 months pregnant. You've been exercising, staying fit, working the whole entire time. And then at the end of your pregnancy, you're coming up to the point where like you're getting ready to deliver. Did you start to think about like what would happen during the delivery? Did you have a birth plan? Things like that?
Okay. So we gonna get into it, huh? Okay. So let me tell you, as the educated woman, right? So I went to every single class the hospital had available. Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I dragged my husband with me because I was like, listen, buddy, I didn't get pregnant by myself. So you gonna be at every class just in case I miss a note, you take a note, right?
Right.
And he came to every single doctor's appointment. So you're not missing a beat, okay? Because if they're gonna be digging all in here and shoving sticks, I was like, what is going on? Like they did not warn me about all of this. Anyway,
it's a lot.
So on like week 33, I remember trying to go over my birthing plan with like, not my doctor, but like the doctor above her, right? Because like it was a practice and she wasn't available because she was delivering a baby at the time. And I remember trying to go over my birth plan. Actually, you know what it was? I went to a childbirth class, right? So a childbirth class at the hospital, and they were showing where the epidural goes. And I was team epidural because I had all these great stories. Epidural, you don't feel anything. I'm like, all right, team epidural, but I am terrified of needles. And when they showed that needle and where in your back it goes, and then the hose is connected to a box. And I remember one girlfriend saying that the hose wasn't connected right, and she felt everything, even though she kept pressing the button and like nothing worked. And they gave her 2 doses and charged her for 2 doses. I was like, oh my God. So I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do the epidural anymore, you know, since there's no guarantees and that's a big behind needle. I got scared. So the hospital we were at, the training, they were talking about, they kind of lean you in the bed forward. So you kind of squat, you could squat if you wanted. So I was like, oh, that's cool. All right. So I remember asking the doctor, hey, can I squat for my delivery? And she was like in Africa? I was like, oh, sure. She was like, but how do I get under you? I'm not going to lay on the floor. I said, huh. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And I remember a couple of friends that had done birth center deliveries, and I asked them and interviewed them, like, what was that like? And so I was encouraged to watch the movie Business of Being Born by Ricky Lake on YouTube. So I sat down with my husband and we watched it, and I was like, ooh, Like it shifted everything for me. And so my husband was like, this sounds good, but how do we know that that's really applicable today? So I did a post on Facebook and I said, for my friends who have delivered babies, you have had a child. How many of you plan to have a natural birth and didn't? Or how many of you wanted to have a natural birth and did, like whatever. Yeah. Like 90% of them ended up with Pitocin and a C-section. I'm talking about healthy women, like regular ladies, no health complications. And it just made me go, like, is that right? With all these C-sections. I said, babe, I think I want to do a birth center birth. He's like, huh? Okay, like it's your body. So I'm just here as a cheerleader, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So we interviewed the midwife that had delivered my friends like 3 babies.
Wow.
And in that time, we sat with her for like an hour and she answered every question. And I shared with her my birth plan and she said, let's do it. As opposed to at the doctor's office for that head doctor, she was like, wait till we get closer, and as my controlling planning crazy side, it's like, wait, can we talk about what I want first? And it's like, oh, well, we don't know if that's really going to happen. So you're already like pushing to the side what I want does not make me feel any better about you delivering my baby. And you may or may not be that one. And then I started to think about it, all those nurses checking you and the lights and no peace. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my chances on this birth center. And it was the best decision ever.
So where were you when you like think that you're in labor or like your labor has started? Did your water break? Did contractions come first? Were you at work? Were you at home? Was your partner around? Give us the tea.
Okay. So it was about 10 a.m. I was in a meeting talking about transitioning while I was away, right? For my pregnancy, for maternity leave.
Maternity leave, yeah.
And then I started feeling contractions. So I downloaded the contraction app and I started tracking those. And I started just putting my stuff in a box that I needed or whatever. And I remember I had a 3:30 p.m. appointment with my midwife. So I told my husband and he says, drive to the midwife. I was like, you want me to drive to the midwife? He's like, yeah, I'll meet you there. I was like, in my car, you want me to drive? So I had contractions all the way to the midwife appointment and I met my husband there. And then when she checked me, she said, yeah, you're in labor and you're not dilated, whatever, go home, take a rest. And I remember her reaching up there, girl, and dilating me like 1 centimeter. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Hallelujah. There was no rest after that, talking about go home and take a nap. There was no nap.
Yeah.
Girl. So after that, things kicked up. I was in labor for about 22 hours. I remember calling my doula at like 10 p.m. It was 3:30. I had my appointment. I got my hair done the day before because I was like, oh, I want to be cute. Okay. I remember, I think I didn't comb my hair for like a month. And so, okay, my hair are cute curls now, but I did a roller set. And you ever done a roller set where you just caught it up in a thing and you didn't comb it out? Those things became dreads. Like it just was not cute at all.
Oh, you were supposed to get braids.
I know. They didn't tell me. They did not tell me to get braids. Nobody told me to get braids.
Nobody should have told you.
Got a roller set. So I went into labor and then at like 10 p.m. my doula came over with her daughter who was also learning, which was cool. So she took some pictures. She was there. But then what helped me the most with my contractions is every time I had a contraction, my husband pressed into the lower part of my back with his thumb. And
acupressure is a lifesaver.
And then that was like, I'm like, come on. And so I labored in the tub. I labored on a ball. I remember my water broke while I was sitting in the rocking chair. And then around 2 a.m., okay, the midwife was like, all right, you could come now. So that was the longest 7-minute ride to the birth center. Now, mind you, where I was supposed to deliver before was a 45-minute ride. I was just like, what was I thinking? 45 minutes away?
That's really far. Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's like my number one thing. Have a baby closest place to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So this was 7 minutes,
That's
7 minutes
awesome.
away at 2 a.m. I was just so grateful for the time of day.
Yeah.
Nobody on the street, nobody there. So when we arrived there, the midwife was there and her assistant was there.
Okay.
My husband, the doula's daughter. So it was what, 5, 6 of us?
Nice.
Quiet place. I
Yeah.
got my room that I wanted. I wanted the seaside room. So it was this blue room and it was just so beautiful. They put me in the tub, just warm water and just washing me with the water. And she was like, all right, you let us know when you're ready to push. I'm like, huh? She was like, you'll know. I'm like, you sure?
You know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I know. Okay, I know. So I'm just there breathing and breathing, and I wanted everybody to shut up because I had a whole playlist. It's so funny, right? So I created this whole Spotify playlist of the music I wanted to play. I didn't want to hear nothing, girl. I need everybody to shut up. I didn't say shut up, but it's just like, all right.
But you bitch, shut up. Yeah, absolutely. At that point in the pregnancy, you mean shut up, no matter what you said.
I was just very grateful that I watched all the movies and things that said it doesn't help to scream. Because you see all those people in the movies that go, rah! And they're acting like a crazy person. So it was kind of cool to just breathe. And so the feedback that I got from everyone that witnessed my birth was like, you were so peaceful. I was just breathing, doing deep breathing, and that's it. So when it was time to push, I guess I was doing the ujjayi breath and I was just breathing. They're like, no, you're not pushing. You're just breathing. I was like, oh, I thought I was pushing. So when they said, no, you have to push like you have to poop, I said, oh, I thought my baby couldn't breathe if I held my breath. They're like, it's okay. Get the baby out. I was like,
Okay.
oh. Okay, that's
So
how
they
you
knew
push.
when you were pushing by the way that your breath changed. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then I delivered my baby.
In the water?
In the water. So crazy.
Oh, nice.
So literally she came straight out and I used my hands and like they helped lift her onto my chest. But like I delivered my baby. I was like, wait a second. When you hear of people delivering their own baby, you like get backwards bushes or somewhere. No, I delivered my baby. And that was just like amazing.
So what time was it when your baby finally appeared into the world?
5:40 a.m.
Wow. Okay. So you headed to the birth center around 2 a.m. Super peaceful. You were in the water surrounded by everybody who you love. This awesome midwife who was just like, we'll sit back and let you do your thing.
Yeah.
And she came at 5:41. No way. So what was your husband's face like? Do you remember? Did he cry?
He was behind me.
Oh, okay.
In the tub. Yeah, he was behind me. So it's so funny. When I first got pregnant, he was like, I'll be in the waiting room. I was like, no, son, you put this baby in, you need to be next to me. He was like, I don't want to be traumatized. I don't want to see all of that. I remember him saying, I don't want to be at this end. Can I be over here?
Yeah.
I'll stand over here. He's like,
I don't want to be at the business end of the situation.
I don't want to see all that.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's like, it's whatever you see, you can't unsee. I'm like, oh my gosh,
that's
hilarious, dude. It was just so funny because when I went into labor, he was like, babe, I could deliver the baby. I watched it on YouTube. I was like, wait a second, is this the same guy who is like, I'll deliver the baby? I'll be in the waiting room to now you're like, hey, I watched a YouTube video. I could do this birth at home.
And now he's a midwife. Okay.
Yeah, we already paid the birthing center, baby. We go to the birthing center. I ain't about to be trying right now.
That is hilarious. What did he say at the end about like his experience of what happened with you and like the birth story from like his perspective? Like, did he see the same thing that you saw as far as like walking into like peace and being close and seeing like your strength and your power throughout the process?
Child, we haven't really gone over that. My husband goes into how much work he did,
Okay.
I'll tell you, it's so crazy. So maybe 3 weeks after the baby was born, he ended up passing out, right? It was crazy because I ended up with a tear. My daughter came out with her hand on her face like this, so like clenched. So I ended up ripping. Oh, hallelujah. So they sewed me up and I was like, oh, I'm ripped. Oh, God. So they had to put the Novocaine, lidocaine, whatever, and they sewed me up right there on the edge of the bed. Ooh, wee. So that was after the golden hour, which was so beautiful and so peaceful. And he held her in the skin to skin. And we played Stevie Wonder, Isn't She Lovely was the first song that she heard, you know, very, very intentional, peaceful, nobody else there. It was just awesome. Then they told me I ripped. I was like, oh no. So after that, I just had a hard time because I was so scared to poop. I was so scared to do anything. I was hurt. I was like, is it going to rip my whole situation open? Then I had a swollen Bartholin gland. So it just looked like a car wreck down there. I was like, oh, my poor vagina. Right. So, he did a lot. He changed the first 150 diapers. Okay.
Okay.
And so I remember I was in the bathroom, you know, for a long time trying to figure out something in there by myself. And he says, Cass, I need you. And I come running out, and he puts the baby on the changing table, and he slumped down and his eyes glazed over. I was like, Wah! Called 911, all the things. They took him to the emergency room, but you know, this is pre-COVID. They took him to the emergency room because we were like, you know, they said he was okay when they were there, but just to be on the safe side, because you just never know, right?
Right.
And it turns out he was just dehydrated and lack of sleep. I'm like, are you serious? Like,
okay.
Lack of sleep and water. Like, this is crazy, right? So and after the birth, I remember him complaining about back spasms because he had to get in the weirdest places to do the acupressure. So I'm in the tub and he had to press, you know, so he had to wring himself like a contortionist to get to my back wherever I was. So that's what he talks about, is how hard he worked.
Okay. Well, needless to say, he worked so hard that he passed out. So he was working pretty hard.
But we still make fun of him because, you know what? I don't know if you've ever seen Working Moms on Netflix.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Okay. So remember the dad when he got like locked up or something and he caught a nap and she was so mad because he caught a nap. I was so mad because he caught a nap at the hospital. Like, wait, you got a 2-hour nap? You got a nap though? I'm over here with this baby and you got a nap. Oh man, I love that show so bad. I was like, everything they went through, I went through to the T.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, so needless to say, at home, things got a little bit crazy because dad passed out. Otherwise, once he got hydrated and got his nap and you guys got back home, did everything go like pretty smoothly, like throughout your beginning postpartum period? Did you guys have, this is pre-COVID, did you guys have family come over and sort of support you and do the whole meal train thing?
Girl, so I didn't want to see anybody after the baby came, right?
Okay.
So, but the thing is, the day after she came was Thanksgiving. So you couldn't just not go see the family for Thanksgiving. So we had to tell them, which was like, all right, I guess. So then they came over, and you know, the whole thing is like germs. Now people are more conscious of germs, but you know, everybody want to kiss your baby and touch your baby and not wash their hands and their shoes. So that was the type of things. I even had a sign by the door because my husband didn't feel comfortable checking his family on, you know, all the things. I'm like, well, you know, it's a law for all people. Don't worry. I'm not just telling you to wash your hands. It's everybody, you know?
Yeah.
That whole thing. So I didn't really want anybody much to come over. Breastfeeding for me was horrendous. You know how the Instagram photos make it seem like this beautiful thing with my baby.
Know. Mm-hmm.
Here I am. I was like, this feels like a shark biting off the most sensitive part. And like I remember my daughter took a chunk one day, like just like a whole chunk out of my nipple. I was like, this is for the birds. Like, I don't know. Like, I grew up on powder. My husband grew up on powder. We do pretty well. Like, it's going to be all right. But then, like, I got the guilt of, you know, breast is best. It's going to be okay. So many of the breast is best in my ear. And then I had 3 lactation consultants come. Finally, when I gave up, my midwife was like, I'm proud of you. I was like, why didn't you tell me to give up? She was like, that's not my role. I was like, you know, I just needed one person out of all 97 of you to say, it's okay.
It's okay to give up. Yeah.
Right. But none of y'all said that. You know, you're here giving me lactation consultants $500 later. Man, I tell you, it was rough. That I was mad at the postpartum. I remember calling up my girlfriends to say, why you ain't warned me, huh? I went to every class. I read all the books. Nobody told me about this hazing situation. I want a t-shirt. I want a t-shirt and I want a special pin for what I'm going through right now.
That's the least we can get, right? Yeah.
Dude, when I say New Year's Day, I had the worst poop of my life. I was in the bathroom for 8 hours. I think that was worse than childbirth because I was taking Motrin. I was taking, I was scared to poop because of all the other things. Like when I say, I was like, I don't want to go to the hospital for poop. Like, this is crazy, like all those things. It was the worst. And I was just like, this is for the birds. This right here. Mm-hmm.
Did your midwife do like postpartum like follow-ups? I'm just curious.
She was amazing.
Okay, because most people have to wait 12 weeks to see
a doctor.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know how regular people do this. Like, get no help from a professional for like 6 to 12 weeks. Like,
it's a lot of showers.
By then, I could have jumped off a cliff,
Yeah.
So my midwife came like the day after that. She came the week after. She came weekly. She was on call. I'm like, how do you have a life? She's like, I don't. And it literally, I felt like Beyonce and J-Lo, because here it was, I was getting home visits from a medical professional to check me, to make sure I'm okay, to check my mental health, to check how to swaddle the baby, came over and taught us how to do that. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, seriously, having a midwife was a game changer. I don't think I would have been all right without her, because there were so many questions as to what to do. And doctors don't really do home visits unless you do the high concierge service for the, fancy doctors.
Yeah. Wow. So the midwife came over and like checked days after and weekly after.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Amazing.
So how old is your daughter now, and what did you end up naming your baby?
Oh, so she's 3.5. Her name is Ava Sky.
Oh, love it. Love it. And what like advice would you give like other moms? So now you're the mom friend that has a baby, right? Mm-hmm. And you have a 3.5-year-old. So you've been like in this for a little bit. So like when you come across like your friends who are becoming like moms for the first time, or maybe even people that you meet, people that you coach, what advice would you give them like as far as like motherhood?
So I give them the book Girlfriend's Guide to Pregnancy because it answers a lot of questions, because you have a million questions and you feel weird asking them. And a lot of times the doctors don't have time for all them extra questions, So I definitely tell them to watch The Business of Being Born.
Okay.
And then I tell them that everybody's delivery, birth plan, whatever is not theirs, right? So it's unique to them. And yes, your birth plan can go as planned, because mine did. Yeah. And I just remember so many people say birth plan, throw that out the window. Like people are so unencouraging when it comes to birth and the whole process, which is just jerk. And then people will also come up to you and try and touch your belly and try to tell you these horror stories as a point of connection. So I usually tell them it's okay to say no thank you. When people start in their weird stories that they like to say, like, no thank you, I'm good. Like, I don't need to hear your horror story. I'm good because your story is not my story, whether it's good or bad. Yeah. So and just that breastfeeding is awesome. But if you decide you can't do it, you're still a great mom. Like sometimes we have all this guilt that we put on people. Yeah. And last but not least is that the baby sleeps the most in the first 24 to 48 hours. Because sometimes you're like, is the baby okay? Is the baby all right? And then after that, they up all the time. So, like, just make sure you try and get your sleep, whether you're in the hospital or home, the first 24 to 48 hours, get your sleep. Because after that, it might be a different story. Now, you might have a miracle baby. I speak nothing crazy into anybody's life. It's just like, look, get some rest the first 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And tell people, Coach Cass, where they can find you like online as we like come to a close. I want people to be able to find you online. And then also, if we are talking to anybody who feels like they need love in their life and would like to get you as their life coach so they can go ahead and fix their picker, as you said, tell people like how they can get a hold of you. And are you taking coaching clients? Is it something you can do virtually? Like all of that.
Sure. Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Inspire Many, Inspire Many. And then you could check me out on inspiremany.com. Yeah, I actually have a class coming up talking about overcoming your dating fears. So many of us, fear like, am I good enough? Is this worth my time? Is this a waste of time? Is this person lying? How can you tell? All the things. We have so many fears that we never talk about. So we're going to have some real deal Holyfield conversation in this masterclass. And I'd love for your ladies who listen in to come on over. Right. So go to loveafter30.com, loveafter30.com. Yeah.
Okay, love it. Well, Coach Cass, thank you so much for joining us, for sharing your birth story and all about your love story, and for giving us this awesome background. For those who are listening, you have to check out the YouTube channel and see Coach Cass in her background in Florida. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Hey.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll make sure to link Love After 30 in the description. I'll also link the website for Coach Cass and also her Instagram page as well. Definitely hit her up, join her class, ask her any questions you guys may have. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. Bye. Bye.